Mga kababayan, awitin po natin ang lupang hinirang, ang pambansang awit ng Republika ng Pilipinas. Please remain standing, and we'd like to request Police Colonel Jason Ortizo, Acting Director of the PNP Chaplain Service, to deliver the invocation.
Let us bow our heads and be aware of God's presence in our midst. Let us pray. Almighty God, we glorify you as we gather today to celebrate the 27th Legal Service Founding Anniversary with the theme, Pinahusay na Legal Service, Alay sa mga Pulis. With contrite heart, we humble ourselves as we seek for your blessings, especially for the entire PNP organization under the leadership of our officer in charge, represented today by our TCDS, and all the legal service personnel, headed by its acting director, Police Colonel Matthew P. Bakay. Grant them your wisdom and endow them perseverance that they will not yield to pressures as they strive to provide timely and responsive delivery of quality service. We likewise consecrate unto your most compassionate heart all the awardees of the anniversary. Let the significant accomplishments that earn them due recognition inspire us all to emulate the remarkable undertakings they rendered in the service of your people. In a very special way, we also ask you, Lord, to bless our guest of honor and speaker, Honorable Amy C. Lazaro Javier, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Let her presence inspire us all to serve your people even more with commitment, dedication, and utmost determination. All this we ask in your most mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Police Colonel George Almadan to give his welcome remarks. A warm applause, ladies and gentlemen.
To our guest of honor and speaker, Supreme Court Associate Justice Amin Lazaro Javier, ma'am. To the Acting Chief Directorial Staff of the Philippine National Police, Police Major General Guillermo Lorenzo T. Illasar, sir. To the Director of the Legal Service, Police Colonel Matthew Bakay, sir. To the President of the Integrated Board of the Philippines, Attorney Domingo Egon Cayosa, sir. Our representative from the Office of the Solicitor General, headed by Assistant Solicitor General Maria Hazel Valdez Acantilado, ma'am, and Assistant Solicitor General Myrna Agno Canoto, and also the solicitors from the Office of the Solicitor General. To the deans of the law colleges, Dean Joan S. Largo from the University of San Carlos School of Law and Governance, Dean Joseph Randy Torregosa from the Goliath Law School, University of the Visayas, from the School of Law, Rizal Memorial Colleges, we have here the chairman, Mr. Leo Magno, sir. The Dean also of the same law school, Dean Ramon Edison Batacan, sir. And from the College of Law, University of Mindanao, represented by the Deputy to the Dean, Attorney Prince Arthur Neresor. To our senior officers of the PNP Legal Service, police and commissioned officers, other guests, good morning. This year marks the 27th anniversary of the PNP Legal Service, a unit which I can say to be very unique in more ways than one, with the theme, Pinahusay na Legal Service alay sa mga pulis. Manned by lawyers, each officer loosely considered a one-man army whose relevance in any PNP units or office depends upon his technical skills and expertise as an officer of the court. Our challenge lies in giving the proper advice to the leaders in coming up with a guided decision and to the personnel in mapping out the entrails of an operating field loaded with legal pitfalls and controversies that only a lawyer worth his salt knows. The more daunting task weighed upon a lawyer's shoulder, a job that many would not dare take, is the duty to represent police officers facing cases before the courts and in different administrative fora. Today, more than any other time in the PNP's history, the PNP Legal Service faces one of the most daunting tasks and challenges as it takes part in the PNP's war on drugs, which serves as the PNP's and our Commander-in-Chief's primary anti-criminality campaign. Through the PNP Legal Service, the PNP ensures that the full force of the law will be applied to those who violate it with impunity, while at the same time guaranteeing that the protection of lives, liberty, property, and human rights remain sacrosanct in the performance of police functions. I must say that I have the bittersweet feeling of being privileged and at the same time challenged. Privileged for having the opportunity to be a part of a command group that lead the best and the brightest that the PNP has to offer. For the PNPLS, with modesty aside, is a repository of think tanks in the field of law enforcement. I feel the challenge since at the moment, not only our countrymen, but also the international community have had their eyes on the PNP since day one. Having thought of that and in light of our unit's anniversary, a unit populated by people with a rare combination of courage and intelligence, May we remember the words of the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. during these times of triumph filled with the many challenges to cope. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at a time of challenge and controversy, and quote. In behalf of the men and women of the PNP Legal Service, I welcome you all in this year's celebration and the 27th founding anniversary of the PNP Legal Service. A pleasant day to everyone.
Thank you, sir. The 27th Legal Service founding anniversary is anchored on the theme, Pinahusay na Legal Service alay sa mga pulis. And at this point, we will witness the awarding of legal service personnel and other stakeholders who contributed to the attainment of the mission of the unit. May we request our awardees to rise. To present the award is Associate Justice Ami Lazaro Javier, together with Police Major Chief of Directorial Staff, Police Colonel Matthew Bagay, Acting Director, Legal Service, Thomas Avalmonte, for having been charged as Best Regional Legal Officer. Likewise, a plaque of recognition will be presented to him for successfully defending the PNP organization as deputized lawyer and in collaboration with the Office of the Solicitor General, or OSG. Thank you very much. Service Excellence Award is presented to Police Lieutenant Colonel J. Borromeo for being a judge as the Best District Legal Officer. Also, a plaque of recognition is awarded to him for his commitment to excellence in carrying out the mandate of the PNP Legal Service by providing legal service to the Quezon City Police District. Thank you very much. Awarded to Police Colonel Anselmo Andayan for being a judge as the Best Senior Legal Officer. Madrid for being a judge as the Best Junior Legal Officer. Likewise, a plaque of recognition is presented to him for successfully defending the PNP organization as deputized lawyer of OSG. Thank you very much. Service Excellent Award is presented to Police Lieutenant Villarreal for having been a judge as the Best Servicing Legal Officer for Administration. Likewise, she will be receiving a plaque of recognition for successfully defending civil case and special proceeding case of PNP personnel. And another plaque of recognition is awarded to her for drafting the PNP policies and implementing rules and regulations. Thank you very much. Service Excellence is awarded to as Best Senior Police Non-Commissioned Officer. Thank you. Service Excellence is awarded to Police Staff Sergeant Paulo Pangan of Regional Legal Office 3 as Best Junior Police Non-Commissioned Officer. Thank you very much. Service Excellence is awarded to Ms. Melchora Arias of Regional Legal Service 3 as Best Non-Uniformed Personnel. Thank you very much. For Relevant Award, Plaque of Recognition, Police Lieutenant Colonel Ella Cristina Culangin for successfully defending the PNP organization as Deputized Lawyer of Office of the Solicitor General. Thank you very much. Plaque of Recognition is presented to Alvarado for successfully defending the PNP organization as Deputized Lawyer of the Solicitor General. Thank you. Plaque of Recognition is presented to Police Lieutenant Colonel Troy Kayanan for successfully defending the PNP organization as Deputized Lawyer of OSG. Thank you. Plaque of Recognition is presented to R.V. Bueno for successfully defending the PNP organization as Deputized Lawyer of OSG. Thank you very much. Plaque of Recognition is presented to Police Lieutenant Colonel Melanie Basanias for successfully defending the criminal case of personnel in Pro 3. Thank you very much. For special awards, plaque presented to Police Lieutenant Colonel Lyra Stella Valera for drafting PNP policies and implementing rules and regulations. Likewise, a plaque of recognition is presented to her as special awardee during the 2019 Police Service Anniversary. And another plaque of appreciation is presented to her in recognition of her academic standing as top-notcher in the foreign language course, Nihongo. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition is Lieutenant Colonel Lynette Tadeo for drafting PNP policies and implementing rules and regulations. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition is presented to Police Lieutenant for drafting PNP policies and implementing rules and regulations. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition is Lieutenant Colonel Jinky Akasho for drafting PNP policies and implementing rules and regulations. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition to Police Major Joseph Bakay for drafting PNP policies and implementing rules and regulations. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition is presented to Police Lieutenant Colonel Dante Arino as awardee during the 9th PRBS founding anniversary. Likewise, he will be receiving a plaque of recognition for academic excellence, ranking the #1 during the Police Human Rights Officers Course, or PHROC. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition is presented to Police Colonel Colino Jr. as Special Awardee during the PNP Aviation Security Group, or PNP rather. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition is presented to Police Lieutenant Colonel Edwin Engay as in assisting the investigation and filing of criminal case in relation to Batocabe incident. Thank you. Recognition is presented to Police Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Orsos in assisting the investigation and filing of criminal case in relation to Batocabe incident. Thank you. Plaque of recognition is presented to Police Major Ivan Abesa in assisting the investigation and filing of highly sensational criminal case. Thank you very much. To Police Lieutenant Colonel Ronald Laoyan for his exemplary performance for ranking #3 during the Police Executive Eligibility Examination. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition is presented to Police Captain Liza Avila for her academic excellence for ranking #1 during the PSOOC Class 2018-01. Thank you very much. Police Captain Eileen Bugnosen for her academic excellence for ranking #1 during the PSOOC Class 2018-02. Thank you very much. Police Captain Melanie Bumacas for her academic excellence for ranking #2 during the PSOOC Class 2018-02. Thank you. Plaque of recognition, Darlene Katakutan for her academic excellence for ranking #1 during the PSOOC Class 2018-03. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition to Police Captain Senon Castillo Jr. for his academic excellence for ranking #2 during the PSOOC Class 2018-03. Thank you very much. Recognition is presented to Police Captain Carla Domeyeg for her academic excellence for ranking #3 during the PSOOC Class 2018-03. Thank you very much. Is presented to Police Captain Junald Rubino for his academic excellence for ranking #1 during the PSOC Class 2018-04. you very much. Is presented to Police Captain Felicito Garcia Jr. for his academic excellence for ranking number 1 during the PSOC Class 2018-05. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition is presented to Police Captain Maria Gono for her academic excellence for ranking number 2 during the PSOOC Class 2018-05. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition is presented to Police Captain Arlene Malasi Abay for her academic excellence for ranking number 3 during the PSOOC Class 2018-06. Thank you very much. Plaque of recognition, Captain Anthony J. Sanchez for his academic excellence for ranking number 2 during the PSOC Class 2018-07. Service Excellence Award is presented to Legal Research and Evaluation Division as Best Division. The award will be received by Police Lieutenant Colonel Lynette Tadeo. Thank you very much. Service Excellence is awarded to Regional Legal Office, NCRPO, as Best Regional Legal Office. The award will be received by Police Colonel Thomas Valmonte. Thank you very much. Special awards, plaque of recognition is presented to Logistics Section ARMD as first placer in the unit performance evaluation rating from among the National Administrative Support Unit. The award will be received by Police Lieutenant Colonel Sara Karanina Flores. Thank you very much. Recognition is presented to Regional Legal Office 8 as recipient of Best Regional Administrative Support Unit recognized by Pro 8 during the 2019 Police Service Anniversary. The award will be received by Police Lieutenant Colonel Mario Abren Sosa. Thank you very much. Plaque of Recognition providing legal assistance to the PNP as the legal counsel of the government. The award will be received by Assistant Solicitor General Maria Hazel Acantillado. Likewise, she will be receiving a plaque of appreciation for her invaluable public service in providing legal representation to the PNP in civil cases and special proceedings. Thank you very much. Plaque of appreciation is presented to Assistant Solicitor General Mirna Agno Canuto in grateful recognition for providing legal representation to the PNP and its office in some significant civil cases and special proceedings. Thank you. Plaque of appreciation is presented to George Harvey Division in grateful recognition for providing legal representation to PNP and its officers in some significant civil cases and special awardings. The plaque will be received by Senior Solicitor Paulo Granados. Thank you very much. Plaque of appreciation is presented to Felix Antonio Division in grateful recognition for providing legal representation to the PNP. The plaque will be received by Ana Marie Mendez Villalon. Thank you very much. Highly significant observation and suggestions on the overall improvement of PNP legal service. Thank you very much. Plaque of appreciation is presented to Attorney James Santiago in grateful recognition for his continued support by providing significant observation and suggestion on the overall improvement of PNP legal service. Thank you very much. Plaque of appreciation is presented to Attorney Manuel Obedoza in grateful recognition of his continued support by providing significant observations and suggestions on the overall improvement of PNP legal service. Thank you very much. Plaque of appreciation is presented to Dean Joanne Largo in grateful recognition of her unwavering commitment and invaluable service in support of the PNP Legal Service Adopt a Law School program. Thank you very much. Plaque of appreciation is presented to Dean Joseph Randy Torrecosa in grateful recognition of his unwavering commitment and invaluable service in support of the PNP Legal Service Adopt a Law School program. Thank you very much. Plaque of appreciation is presented to Dean Ramon Edison Batacan in grateful recognition of his unwavering commitment and invaluable service in support of the PNP Legal Service Adopt a Law School program. Thank you very much. Plaque of appreciation is presented to Chairman Leo Tereso Mando in grateful recognition of his unwavering commitment and invaluable service in support of the PNP Legal Service Adopt a Law School program. Thank you very much. Presented to Dean Jess Zakael Espejo in grateful recognition of his unwavering commitment and invaluable service in support of the PNP Legal Service. And the plaque will be received by Attorney Arthur Prince Neira. Thank you so much, sir. Again, around the
Acting Director of the PNP Legal Service.
Thank you. Our guest honorary speaker, whom I will introduce in a moment. The President of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, found out this morning, he's my kababayan, Attorney Domingo Egon Cayosa. The Acting Chief Directorial Staff of the Philippine National Police, Major General Guillermo Lorenzo Elizar, sir. Our partners from the Solicitor General, led by Assistant Solicitor General Mirna Agno Canuto, Assistant Solicitor General Maria Hazel Valdez Cantilado, members of the Legal Service Advisory Council, led by Attorney Giselle Dizon Reyes, Chairman, Attorney Norma M. Ramos, Attorney Manuel S. Obedosa, Attorney James A. Santiago, and Mr. Gilbert Sherwin Samson had been continually leading the legal service in our performance governance system. Thank you very much. The deans of the law school. In Bisaya, we have what we call walay pabor-pabor. Let me start with the representative of the dean of my alma mater, the University of Mindanao, Attorney Vince Artur Nera. Also, next, of course, pasensya na kayo, I'm from Davao City. Let me acknowledge my very good friend, the chairman of the Rizal Memorial Colleges, Chairman Leo Tereso Magno, and the Dean, of course, one of the legal luminaries in Davao City, Dean Ramon Edison C. Batacan. Thank you, sir, for coming. Of course, the other deans from San Carlos School of Law and Governance, Dean Joan S. Lagro. From the Gulas Law School, University of the Visayas, Dean Joseph Randy Torregosa. From College of Law, University of San Jose Recoletos, Dean Jonathan Capanas. Of course, other guests, Major General Napoleon Estiles, the representative of Congressman Waminal. He's been a partner in the formulation of the Legal Assistance Program of the Legal Service. Major General Roberto Fardo from the Civil Security Group. Thank you for coming, sir. The awardees in today's Legal Service Anniversary Celebration, officers and men of the Legal Service, Command Group of the Legal Service led by my deputy, Colonel George Almaden. Of course, from the different directorates who are present, Father Jason, the director of the chaplain service, newly installed, other guests, ladies and gentlemen, Mayong Buntag. It is my honor and privilege to stand before you as I lead the 229-strong PNP Legal Service in celebration of the 27th PNP LS founding anniversary with the team Pinahusay na Legal Service alay sa mga pulis. Today, more than ever, it is the right time for the unit to enhance delivery of various legal assistance programs to the PNP organization and its personnel. Looking back, the Legal Service is proud of its humble achievements in the past year through direct legal representation of its lawyers in 165 service-related criminal, administrative, and civil cases, benefiting a total of 695 PNP personnel. From January 2018 to September 2019, 63 special civil actions, prerogative writs, and special proceedings were filed against the PNP, wherein our legal officers were deputized in 16 of these cases and collaborated with the Office of the Solicitor General, or SG, in another 25 cases. Through the dedication of LS lawyers with the Office of Solicitor General support, the unit secured favorable decisions in 7 special civil actions. To guide PNP personnel, our legal officers delivered 205 LS-initiated seminars and lectures nationwide. Upon invitation of PNP commanders, hundreds more of these legal education packages were conducted by our legal officers in the province and cities. Likewise, the legal service continued to serve as legal counsel through the rendition of legal opinions on the issues affecting PNP administration and operation. As we stride on We shall endeavor to make the legal service more relevant to the PNP and better attuned to the pressing needs of our time. And this we can successfully do and achieve with the help of our invaluable partners. Now I proceed to my main task, which is to introduce our guest of honor and speaker. It is both an honor and privilege to introduce a woman who is not only intelligently superior, but is also a person with indisputable integrity. Our guest of honor and speaker was born in Manila on November 16, 1956 to Carlos B. Lazaro of Cadiz, Negros Occidental, and Sigma L. Carillo of Looc, Romblon. She is happily married to attorney Rolando K. Javier of Cadiz, Negros Occidental, with whom she has 3 children: Robert Voltaire, a computer engineer; Paula Sigma, a medical doctor; and Berta Camille Bremers, a businesswoman. She graduated magna cum laude from the Philippine Normal College in 1977 with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Education. She also received the award of Outstanding Student in Social Sciences. After her graduation, she immediately entered the University of Santo Tomas Faculty of Civil Law. As a law student, she was the editor-in-chief of the UST Law Journal, a member of the UST debating team both in 1981-1982, and a recipient of the Rector's Award for Academic Excellence. She is a consistent university scholar and a highly esteemed and eminent member of the Astria Law Sorority of UST. She graduated class valedictorian, magna cum laude, in 1982 and passed the bar examination the same year. Her first foray into public service was as a trial attorney at the Office of the Solicitor General in 1983. She later became Assistant Solicitor General in 1994, a post she held for 14 years before she became an Associate Justice of the Court of Appeals. A naturally good-hearted person with genuine concern to her fellow employees, she formed the OSG Abot Kamay Foundation for the benefit of the OSG rank and file employees, extending financial assistance to them during illness and other emergencies. She held the post of Associate Justice of the Court of Appeals from September 13, 2007 to March 6, 2019. During her stint in the Court of Appeals, she was the chairperson of the Gender and Development Committee. She also maintained a zero backlog case docket and was always prompt in deciding all the cases assigned to her as Associate Justice of the Court of Appeals. Among her notable accomplishments are: she is a recipient of awards for government service from the Philippine Normal University Alumni Association, Philippine National Police CIDG, University of Santo Tomas Law Alumni Association, and the UST Astria Law Sorority. She also attended training seminars and conventions on law and justice at the Harvard University, USA, Hong Kong, and Paris, France. She is also the author of the non-published articles such as Double-Edged Sword of the Liberalized Rule on Reversion of Expropriated Property to the original owner, When Information is Coercion, Abetting Harassment in the Name of Democracy, Thinking Marriage Equality, When Delay Controls the Minds and Suffering Stroke in the Judiciary. In the academe, she was a law professor from 1983 to March 2019 at the UST Faculty of Civil Law, teaching constitutional law, commercial law, civil law, remedial law, and legal ethics. She is also an MCLE lecturer on alternative dispute resolution, legal writing and oral advocacy, legal and judicial ethics special proceedings, appellate practice, and special civil action. Our guest of honor and speaker was in 2011 the bar examiner in political law. In 2012-2013, she was a member of the Supreme Court Subcommittee on the Revision of Rules of Civil Procedure. She also acted as Vice Chairman of the Committee on Gender Responsiveness in the Judiciary, July 25, 2019, and Integrated Bar of the Philippines Oversight Subcommittee on June 26, 2019. Pañeros and Pañeras, it is also worth mentioning that the accomplishments of our guest of honor and speaker is not solely confined in the scale of justice. Our guest of honor and speaker is an awardee of the Ulirang Ina Awards in 2008. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, the contemporary version of Goddess Themis in Greek mythology, and an Ulirang Ina awardee, Justice Ami C. Lazaro Javier.
Thank you very much. Be seated, please. Thank you. Thanks for the kind and generous introduction, Police Colonel Matthew Bakay. Okay, may I do a roll call of Solicitors General, ASG Mirna Agno Canito. ASG Maria Hazel Valdez Acantilado, ASG. I would like to say this without any fear of contradiction. The PNP is in the best hands with this team, with this very powerful team, headed by ASG Mirna Agno Canito and ASG Maria Hazel Valdez Acantilado. Thank you very much. Of course, I would like to mention the deans that make the bar ever exciting. The deans that are instrumental in producing good lawyers who will serve the country and the Filipino people with all their best. All right? They are the deans of law. The people who are responsible to the fulfillment of the dreams of our young aspirants to become lawyers. They are the people who steer each law school into its right direction and who inculcate values in each law student, not only in terms of what is the law, but more importantly, how they should be, the values they should imbibe and practice after law and after having become lawyers, and even in the school itself. Of course, the USC, everyone now wants to enroll at USC, and the reason is obvious. It is headed by Dean Joanne Lagro. There is no stopping the University of San Carlos from hugging most of the spots in the top 10. And of course, Dean Joseph Randy Torregosa is here from Lucas Law School, University of the Visibly. I am very, very close to education because I am myself educator. So I deeply admire those whose life revolves around educating the young. That's why I take time to acknowledge these people because they're giving so much of themselves to educating the young. Dean Ramon Edison Batacan, LLM, School of Law, Rizal Memorial College. Dean Jess Zaquel Espero is here, College of Law, University of Mindanao. Dean Jonathan Capanas of the University of San Jose Recoletos College of Law. He's not here. This is known as the richest law school in the land, University of San Jose Recoletos College of Law. And of course, Chairman Leo Tereso Magno, Chairman of the Rizal Memorial College. I would like to acknowledge my student, one of those I passed because she was a brilliant student in the UST College of Law, and the one who was responsible for having me here. The one who invited me, and I didn't even see her invite me. I was just told that I should come. You know, when you are a teacher, you command, but after your students become professionals, fulfill their dreams, and they also assume their own ranks, they're not the ones commanding you. So, of course, I would like to acknowledge Police Colonel Ella Cristina Hilale. Thank you, Ella. All right. And Ella actually belonged to the honors class in UST. And I cannot forget that class because they made me so happy and fulfilled as a professor. And I know that their class is a powerful class because most of them are already accomplished. The other PNP officers, guests, fellow workers in government, and I would like to make the most special mention, the people, the reason why we are all here, this year's foundation awardees of the PNP. You are heroes. Congratulations and thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am elated and honored to be your guest of honor and speaker for the 27th anniversary of the PNP Legal Service. For those of you who do not know me, besides my present official job description as one of the Supreme Court's Associate Justices, let me tell you this, not too long ago, I was once among you. No, I did not occupy a position in the PNP Legal Service, though I worked closely with the PNP Legal Service. I was with the Office of the Solicitor General. I was also a general, an Assistant Solicitor General. Then, I was assigned to provide legal services to the Philippine National Police. I remember distinctly when I was an Assistant Solicitor General, just like ASD Mirna and ASD Hazel. I think I was then just 13 years old. Now that I am barely 29 years old, imagine just how long my association with you has been. Your theme for this year's anniversary is not only appropriate for our times, your theme is, well, very modest and humble, I should say. Pinahusay na legal service, alay sa mga pulis. For someone who is from the outside looking in, I think pinahusay na legal service is an understatement. Mahusay na po ang PNP Legal Service. And I am speaking based on my own personal experience and my own personal knowledge. In fact, I believe napakahusay na ng PNP Legal Service. In view of this, the theme is very modest because it really should have been mas pinahusay pa ang napakahusay na ng PNP Legal Service alay sa mga pulis. Totoo yan, hindi humahaba ang ilong ko. My dear colleagues in the legal profession and the public service, I am very proud to see your office blossom into a major service component of the National Police. Each of you has been a vanguard of the rule of law, and each of you complements the police authority of our police officers in the execution of our laws. I would like to think that more than ever, your presence in the PNP is very critical in the fulfillment of the mandate and vision and mission of the PNP. I know that the PNP Legal Service and the PNP as a whole are aware that your success in police operations is measured not only by the number of actual physical encounters with criminal elements and law violators, but also your prowess in fighting the battles against criminality and towards law enforcement in the arena of the rule of law. Let me talk about it in greater detail, the role of the PNP Legal Service in the PNP. Some of you may be wondering, how do you divide roles and responsibilities among the PNP Legal Service on one hand and the Office of the Solicitor General, and perhaps the Internal Affairs Service, the Office of the Ombudsman, the Civil Service Commission, and the National Police Commission on the other? For you who are lawyers, you may already know the differences between these offices of government lawyers. But I think among the police officers who are not lawyers, and for those of you who seek clarity on what makes these offices of lawyers distinct from each other, I will endeavor to explain it to you. Let me deal first with the obvious. The Internal Affairs Service, the Office of the Ombudsman, the Civil Service Commission, and the National Police Commission are not lawyers for the PNP or the police officers. These government officers are not counterparts of the PNP Legal Service. They may, my emphasis on may, provide the PNP of the PNP Legal Service some of their thoughts on matters affecting conduct and behavior, but these are not legal advice. Their thoughts are mere guidelines that the PNP and the PNP Legal Service may rely upon in good faith. But the Internal Affairs Service, the Office of the Ombudsman, the CSC, and the NPC do not owe the PNP the duties that are associated with lawyer-client relationship. In fact, on the contrary, these offices are there to watch over the conduct of every PNP personnel and to penalize for misbehavior. This brings me to the role of the PNP Legal Service vis-a-vis the Office of the Solicitor General. What differentiates and in effect distinguishes these offices are their respective ultimate clients. One of the lawyer's most important duties is the duty of quality of service to the client. The duty of quality of service includes the lawyer's responsibility to be competent, to maintain client confidentiality, to avoid conflicts of interest, and to continue to represent the client unless there is good cause to withdraw. Because most of these duties are those that are owed to the client, a lawyer must always know who the client is. The OSG is indeed the PNP's lawyer. To put it in another way, the PNP is a client of the OSG. But the PNP is a client of the OSG only because the PNP is an agency of the Republic of the Philippines, which is the OSG's ultimate client. As a result, the duties that the OSG has to the PNP as the latter's lawyer is filtered and will at times be overridden by the OSG's duties as lawyer of the Republic of the Philippines. What about the PNP Legal Service? You are lawyers for the PNP. Your client is the PNP. Your client is the organization. Your client is not the police officers that make up the PNP. You do not serve the interest of the police officers per se. Your client is not the Republic of the Philippines. You must advocate for the PNP if you think that the advocacy furthers the interest of the PNP. When we talk of interest here, we are of course referring only to legitimate interest. When acting for an organization, you should determine which officers or agents of the organization may properly give instructions on the organization's behalf. Intuitively, the instructing agents will of course be the PNP chief, and above him, the President of the Republic of the Philippines. Whatever their instructions are, which we assume of course to be legitimate and legal, you follow. You provide the legal advice, but in the end, you have to heed their instructions. In any event, you always have to remember and make known through your advice that you as lawyer ask for the organization, the PNP, and not for the individuals who act as its instructing agents. As lawyers for the PNP, each of you must be honest and candid when giving advice. The duty requires the lawyer to apprise the client of information known to the lawyer that may affect the interest of the client on the matter. The lawyer must advise the client regarding the options, possible outcomes, or risks of the matter so the client is able to make informed decisions and give appropriate instructions. You know, there are lawyers, I'm not referring to you, but there are lawyers, they act on the request for advice, but always they have in mind what the client wants to hear from the lawyer. They give advice because they're already decided to give advice suitable or fitted to what the client wants. You are not that kind of lawyer because in the ultimate analysis, your interest, your role as a lawyer is to only do what is legitimate and what is legal. So you are not restrained from giving your candid advice and well-studied advice to your client, so that in the end, you can tell yourself that you just give what is legal, what is lawful, and what is proper advice that you can give to your client. In the end, the client cannot point to you that it is my lawyer who advised me so. And even if your client will tell you that, you can counter that, no, I advise you this way. And I only advise you based on the law, based on jurisprudence, and based in the absence of these two, based on equity and morals. The lawyer must also be honest. You know, in the OSG, when I was a young lawyer in the OSG, and the habeas corpus was a very young concept. It's a baby concept at that time. There was still no writ of amparo. Okay. And the respondents, the petitioners there, then were the families of Aquilino Pimentel, of Jovi Salonga, of Jokno. They were picked up and they were incarcerated, they were jailed. And when the cases were, and they were all heard by the Supreme Court. At that time, the habeas corpus was such a very young concept. It was an infant concept. And we all think that, at least the Supreme Court was of the belief that no other than the highest court of the land should hear the case. And involving political leaders like Aquilino Pimentel, Vito Salonga, Jose Jokno. And their counterparts, their lawyers were Rene Saguisag, the Arno brothers, Sanidad brothers, I think, and then Joker Arroyo, Heidi Yora. These were the lawyers. And I was a product of the mentoring of Estelito Mendoza at that time. All right? But we were always candid to our lawyer, to our client. Our client then was Secretary of Defense, now Senator Enrile, no less. Okay, and the big wigs of the PNP, and not PNP yet, it was different. Okay, but we were always candid. We will tell them that there is no, I think we cannot defend this. I think we will just lose the case. And that was during martial law. During martial law, we will just lose the case because we didn't have a warrant of arrest, and we wouldn't know how to defend him. So we don't, even then, we never lost a case. We never lost a case. Why? Because before the hearing, we already, the persons were already released. So our cases were dismissed on ground of mootness. So I'm telling you this, that even during martial law, the rule of law must also still prevail. All right. In many cases, we were just lucky that the Supreme Court was willing to dismiss the case on ground of mootness, but not anymore now, especially when the violation, the alleged violation, is capable of repeating itself, yet evading review. Yeah. And the jurisprudence has so evolved. There are so many exceptions now to exercising judicial review, despite the fact that the case has already been rendered academic, especially for the guidance of the bench, for transcendental importance, and the most important consideration is when the act complained of is capable of repeating itself, yet evading review. So it's so important, kahit ikamatay nyo, magsabi kayo ng totoo sa client nyo. Of course, what you tell your client is confidential between you and your client. But please, let's be candid to them. You wouldn't know that if you were just candid, your client would have followed you. Thank you. When the client's expectations about the matter are unreasonable or cannot be performed under the law. Honesty and candor are essential if the client is to trust the lawyer's judgment and fully benefit from the professional relationship. You know, I'm not just speaking of the PNP. I am speaking of the lawyers in general. We do not exaggerate that we will win the case at all costs, that your client has a good case and most likely he would win the case. Or let alone telling our client that yes, 101% we will win the case. No lawyer worth his soul or her soul can really truly say that his or her case is 100% a winning case. There is no telling. What is 100% is this: you will give 100% of your best in defending your client's cause. Lawyers must not ignore the warning signs that may indicate the client's dishonesty. Sometimes, the clients are not also candid to us. Sometimes that is the frustration of lawyers. When you find out later in the midst of things, when you're already in the thick of things, I did not know about that. Why did you not tell me? Then the client will say, because you did not ask. You know, I handled the CIDG, the case involving the Nita Blancas. Alright? And the other habeas corpus cases, I always pray that my client will say, no, the person is not with them. Because I will just tell that to the court, honestly, Your Honor, my client does not have in his custody this person. So that's it. And more often than not, God granted my prayer. So when I asked Colonel Versosa, Colonel Espina, I asked them, do you have this person? One of the, I think Mendel? Yeah, Leo Mendel, something like that. Another one, the middleman, the one who hired Medel. The one who hired Medel. He just disappeared. And then they were accusing the PNP, CIDG. Then I asked them, do you have this person? Did you kidnap him? Ninervous ako Buti sinabi nila no. Kasi pag nag-yes yun, hindi na ako magtatanong. So, no. Okay, I cannot ask, yung totoo. Hindi ko matanong kasi sabi, ang totoo ko, ito ko. Ayoko na. So, pero of course, I have 100% confidence in the truthfulness, the candor of my clients back then. Okay. So far, based on my experience, my CIDG, my PNP clients were all very truthful and very kind. And I was thankful for that. And then I will tell you what happened to that case. So, we told the court, no, we don't have, my client does not have this man. My client has no participation at all in the disappearance of this man, etc., etc. But my God, we lost that case in the trial court. Why? The trial court said, but you did not do the proper procedure, you did not comply, you did not do this, you did not do that, you did, etc., etc. But habeas corpus is just about a singular question. Okay, did you detain this person? Do you have this person in custody? And you have no lawful purpose, a reason to keep this person. That's all. How the PNP handle this case is not for the court to pass judgment on. So, my client asked me, should they appear? Because there was already a motion to execute there. Okay, I told them no, do not appear, because right then and there they might jail you, put you in jail. Because there was a threat there that if they cannot produce the person, my clients will be jailed. Sabi ko, no, don't anymore. We'll just file a notice of appeal right away, because a notice of appeal, the filing of a notice of appeal, immediately vacates the judgment. So we went up to the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals sustained us. So our adversary went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court still sustained us. You know, the writ of amparo came about because of some matters which cannot be addressed by the habeas corpus. All right, like when the respondent says, we do not have with us that person. We have no involvement at all, etc., etc. But the writ of habeas, the writ of amparo came in to address some deficiencies, like, all right, you don't have that person in your custody, but what did you do to locate that person? What did you do to protect that person? Okay, another is, you're saying that you do not have that person in your custody. We go to your premises, we will make an ocular inspection. All right. Another is, let us see the records. Okay. But and of course, the PNP would know what records to show. They would know where the premises, that should be the subject of inspection. But I think the writ of amparo has some loopholes also. But we're getting there. We're trying to perfect it. It's a very, very young concept also. Okay. So, when I was in the OSG, I was preoccupied with how to defend my PNP clients. All right? Because I also felt one with you in protecting the interests of the people of the Philippines. Now, to avoid unwittingly becoming involved in the dishonesty of your client or your client's illegal conduct, lawyers must make reasonable efforts to ascertain the purpose and objectives of each act consulted to you as members of the PNP Legal Service. You know, we do not just receive information, we must also elicit information from our client. Somehow, it's short of saying that you should also cross-examine your client. You should probe deeper into your client, especially when you have a hunch that there's something that you ought to know, but is not being disclosed to you. So, in probing your client, you should, of course, you will start with good faith, right? The presumption that your client is telling the truth. But you should also be ready to ask probing questions. The lawyer has special obligations when the proposed or actual misconduct involves a client that is an organization. A lawyer who learns that the organization is acting or intends to act dishonestly, fraudulently, criminally, or illegally with respect to the matter for which the lawyer was employed is required to advise those responsible for the organization about the wrongful conduct and that the conduct must stop. Okay? You know, the head of the PNP itself is a fiction. It's a legal fiction. It doesn't breathe, it doesn't talk, it doesn't act. But it only breathes, talks, and acts through its head of office. Okay? The head of office is the PNP, for example. And the PNP is the head of office. Insofar as the term of that, for as long as the term of office of that head lasts. Alright? But, of course, this is not about, I'm not talking about the reality on the ground. This is just hypothetical. If you think as a lawyer, right, that there is a wrongful conduct, and that wrongful conduct reflects the direction and policy of the organization, what must you do as lawyers? First, you must advise the person who gave instructions to the lawyer and the chief legal officer, or both the chief legal officer and the chief executive officer, that the conduct was, is, or would be dishonest, fraudulent, criminal, or illegal, and should be stopped. If the conduct persists, advise progressively the next highest persons or groups, ultimately including those in Camp Crame or thereafter Malacanang, that the conduct was, is, or would be dishonest, fraudulent, criminal, or illegal, and should be stopped. Mahirap kasi yung sin of omission. You should have said it, but you did not. Had you said it, it would not have happened. But looking back, you're also part of the unlawful conduct because you opt to just keep quiet. If the organization continues with or intends to pursue the wrongful conduct despite the lawyer's advice, withdraw from acting for the organization in that matter, which may in some cases include, resigning from the lawyer's position with the employer. If really you do not wish to be a part of the misconduct or unlawful Act. However, you as lawyer must hold information relating to the organization's proposed misconduct in strict confidence. Hindi mo ilalaglag yung iyong kliyente. You will have, there is no exception no? Sa lawyer-client relation, up to the grave. And even beyond your grave, you should hold that confidentiality intact. You will have to find an exception to the rule requiring confidentiality to justify your disclosure of the proposed misconduct. The confidentiality between lawyer and client, it's almost absolute. Very, very few exceptions, if at all there are exceptions. What I have just shared with you are some of the basic duties that a lawyer owes to his or her client. In the case of the esteemed PNP Legal Service, these are your individual duties as lawyers of the PNP. One word sums up these duties: professionalism. If you are able to maintain professionalism among your ranks, as you should, you will never go wrong. Mas pinahusay ang mahusay na PNP Legal Service. Yan ang handog nyo sa Philippine National Police. Let me end this talk with some poignant lines from George Strait's The Weight of the Badge. Do you know that song? The poignant lines from George Strait's The Weight of the Badge. Hindi nyo alam, ano? Hindi ko rin alam But I researched, which speaks volumes of your sacrifices in the service of law enforcement. Here goes. He swore that oath to protect and serve, pours his heart and soul into both those words, lays his life on the line, and the line he walks is razor fine. Tempered strength is always tough, but he ain't gonna buckle under the weight of the badge. Congratulations to the PNP Legal Service on your 27th anniversary at ngayong Oktubre, maligayang Pasko sa inyo naman. Salamat.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Honorable Ami Lazaro Javier. Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Flag of appreciation is presented to Honorable Ami Lazaro Javier, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines, as guest of honor speaker during the 27th Legal Service Anniversary. Likewise, a memento is presented to Honorable Ami Lazaro Javier, the Roman goddess of justice, who is equivalent to the Greek goddess Themis, is a personification of moral force in the judicial system. She is also often seen carrying a double-edged sword in her right hand, symbolizing the power of reason and justice.